Hello everyone, welcome back to Talk Fluent. We're so happy you're spending some time with us today. If you've ever struggled to explain what you do at work in English, don't worry, you are definitely not alone. A lot of English learners know their job very well, but when someone asks, "So what do you do?" they suddenly forget all the words they wanted to say. Today, we're going to fix that together.
That's so true. I remember when I first met people from different countries. One of the first questions everyone asked was, "What do you do?" It sounds like a simple question, but answering it naturally isn't always easy. Many learners either give very short answers or use translations from their own language that don't sound natural in American English.
Exactly, and here's something interesting. Native English speakers don't usually describe every single task they do. Instead, they use natural phrases that make their job sound clear, confident, and professional. That's exactly what we're going to practice today.
By the end of this lesson, you'll know how to explain your job responsibilities in a way that sounds natural in American English. Whether you're introducing yourself at work, preparing for a job interview, talking with coworkers, or simply meeting new people, you'll feel much more confident.
We'll also show you common workplace expressions, useful sentence patterns, and real conversations that Americans actually use. These aren't textbook examples. They're the kinds of phrases you'll hear in offices, stores, hospitals, schools, restaurants, and companies every day.
Before we jump in, we'd love to hear from you. What do you do for work, or what job do you hope to have in the future? Leave a comment below using one simple English sentence. Don't worry about being perfect, we'll be reading your comments.
And if you're enjoying these practical English lessons, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Talk Fluent, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. We upload lessons that help you speak real English with confidence.
All right, grab a notebook, get ready to speak along with us, and let's learn how to talk about your job like a pro.
Let's start with the most important question you'll hear. What do you do? This question is asking about your job or profession. Many learners think they need a long answer, but most of the time, a short, clear answer is the best way to begin.
Here's a simple formula you can remember. Subject plus verb plus job title. For example, I work as a teacher. I'm a graphic designer. I work in marketing. I manage a small team. I run my own business. These are all short, natural, and very common in American English.
Once you've introduced your job, you can explain your responsibilities. Here's another easy formula. Subject plus verb plus responsibility. For example, I help customers. I manage projects. I answer emails. I prepare reports. I train new employees. Notice how simple these sentences are. You don't need difficult vocabulary to sound professional.
Let's look at a few more examples. I'm a nurse. I take care of patients. I'm an accountant. I prepare financial reports. I'm a software developer. I build mobile apps. I'm a chef. I create new menu items. I'm a customer service representative. I solve customer problems. Each answer starts with the job, then explains the main responsibility.
Now imagine someone asks me what I do. I'd say, I create English lessons for learners around the world. I also record videos and answer students' questions. That's a natural answer because I don't list 20 different tasks. I only mention the most important ones.
If someone asked me, I'd probably say, I work with businesses and help them improve communication. I also organize meetings and coordinate projects. Again, simple verbs like help, organize, coordinate, and improve sound professional without being complicated.
Here's another tip. Native speakers often use action verbs because they're clear and direct. Instead of saying, my responsibility is the management of schedules, they'll usually say, I manage schedules. Instead of saying, I am responsible for the preparation of reports, they'll say, I prepare reports. Shorter is usually better.
Let's practice together. Imagine you're talking to a new coworker. I'll ask the question, what do you do? Think about your answer before I give you an example. Ready? I work in sales. I help customers choose the right products. Or, I'm an engineer. I design electrical systems. Or, I work in a hotel. I welcome guests and answer their questions. Did you come up with your own answer?
Here's another useful pattern. For example, I mainly work with clients. I mainly answer customer calls. I mainly prepare presentations. I mainly handle paperwork. The word mainly tells people what you do most of the time.
You can also use usually. I usually meet with customers. I usually work on 3 projects at once. I usually spend my mornings answering emails. That sounds very natural because work changes from day to day.
Sometimes people want a little more detail. That's when you can add another sentence. For example, I'm a teacher. I teach high school students. I also help organize school events. Or, I'm a mechanic. I repair cars and explain problems to customers. Notice how each sentence adds just enough information without becoming too long.
Let's make this interactive. Can you answer these questions out loud? What do you do? Who do you work with? What do you do every day? What's your biggest responsibility? Even if your answer is only one sentence, that's great practice.
Now let's talk about negative forms because they're useful too. Sometimes you want to explain what you don't do. For example, I don't work directly with customers. I don't manage the budget. I don't travel very often. I don't supervise other employees. These sentences help people understand your role more clearly.
You can also compare responsibilities. I don't sell products, but I support the sales team. I don't write the software, but I test it. I don't teach the classes, but I prepare the learning materials. Those comparisons make your English sound much more natural.
Here's another everyday expression. I'm in charge of, for example, I'm in charge of scheduling appointments. I'm in charge of inventory. I'm in charge of training new staff. This phrase is common in workplaces across the United States because it clearly shows your responsibility.
But remember, don't use this phrase for every sentence. Mix it with other expressions like I manage, I handle, I coordinate, or I help with. Using different verbs makes your English sound more fluent and natural.
We'd love to hear from you again. Write one sentence in the comments using today's formula. Start with your job, then add one responsibility. For example, I'm a cashier. I help customers at the checkout. We'll be excited to read your examples.
Before we move on, let's do one final review. Start by saying your job, then use simple action verbs to explain your responsibilities. Add words like mainly, usually, or also when you want more detail. Keep your sentences short, clear, and confident. That's exactly how many native English speakers talk about their work every day.
Now that you know how to introduce your job and explain your main responsibilities, let's take the next step. In real conversations, people often ask follow-up questions. They don't just ask, what do you do? They might ask, what's a typical day like? Or what kind of projects do you work on? This is your chance to give a little more detail while still sounding natural.
That's right. Instead of listing every single task, think of your work as a story. Start with your main responsibility, then add one or two details. Here's a simple formula you can use. Subject plus action plus detail. For example, I manage customer accounts and make sure our clients are happy. I design websites that are easy to use. I prepare reports for the management team every Friday. I work with different departments to solve problems. Those extra details make your answer more interesting without making it too long.
Let's imagine someone asks me, what's your typical workday like? I could say, I usually start by checking emails. Then I prepare lessons, record videos, and answer questions from students. Every day is a little different, but helping learners is my biggest priority. That sounds natural because it explains my routine in a simple way.
Here's my example. I usually begin with a team meeting. After that, I organize projects, talk with clients, and make sure everyone has what they need. In the afternoon, I review our progress and plan for the next day. Notice how I'm using time expressions like usually, after that, and in the afternoon. These words help listeners follow the story.
Another common question is, who do you work with? You can answer like this, I work with customers. I work with engineers. I work closely with my manager. I work as part of a small team. I work independently most of the time. These are all phrases you'll hear in American workplaces.
And don't forget the phrase work closely with. Native speakers use it all the time. For example, I work closely with the marketing department. I work closely with doctors and nurses. I work closely with business owners. It means you communicate and cooperate with those people regularly.
Let's listen to a short conversation. Someone asks, what do you do? I work in human resources. Oh, really? What do you do there? I interview job candidates, help new employees get started, and answer questions about company policies. See how each answer builds naturally. That's much better than giving one very long sentence.
Here's another one. What do you do? I'm a delivery driver. What does a normal day look like? I pick up packages in the morning, deliver them throughout the city, and make sure everything arrives on time. That's simple, clear, and easy to understand.
Now let's talk about formal and informal English because both are useful. If you're chatting with a friend, you might say, I fix computers. I sell cars. I build houses. Those are perfectly natural in casual conversations.
But in a job interview or professional meeting, you might choose slightly more formal expressions. Instead of saying, I fix computers, you could say, I provide technical support. Instead of, I sell cars, you could say, I help customers find the right vehicle. Instead of, I answer the phone, you could say, I manage customer communication. Both versions are correct. The best choice depends on the situation.
Here's another useful expression. I'm responsible for example, I'm responsible for scheduling meetings. I'm responsible for quality control. I'm responsible for customer support. This phrase sounds a little more formal than I handle, so it's perfect during interviews or business conversations.
On the other hand, if you're talking with coworkers during lunch, you might simply say, I handle customer questions. I take care of scheduling. I help with payroll. Those sound relaxed but still professional.
Let's do a quick practice together. I'll say a job title and you think of one responsibility. Ready, teacher? Maybe you said, I teach English and prepare lessons. Chef, I prepare meals and create new recipes. Receptionist, I greet visitors and answer phone calls. Graphic designer, I create logos and marketing materials. Great job. Speaking out loud helps your brain remember these sentence patterns much faster.
Here are 3 tips that will make your English sound even more natural. First, use action verbs like manage, create, organize, support, train, design, and coordinate. Second, don't memorize one perfect answer. Learn a few flexible sentence patterns that you can use in different conversations. Third, smile when you speak. Believe it or not, smiling changes your voice and makes you sound more confident and friendly.
I really like that last tip. Confidence isn't about using difficult words. It's about speaking clearly and naturally. Even simple English sounds impressive when it's spoken with confidence. Before we continue, we'd love another comment from you. This time, write one sentence about your typical workday. If you're a student, tell us about your daily routine instead. We'd love to read how you describe your day in English.
Let's quickly review. Start with your job, explain your daily tasks, add a few details about who you work with or what your day looks like, and choose formal or informal language depending on the situation. That's how you keep a conversation flowing naturally.
So far, we've talked about introducing your job and explaining your daily responsibilities. Now let's focus on something that can really make your English sound professional, explaining your role in a team and talking about your achievements. Many English learners only talk about tasks. Native speakers often explain the purpose behind those tasks too.
Exactly, compare these 2 answers. I answer customer emails. Now compare that with, I answer customer emails to make sure our clients get quick support. The second answer tells people not only what you do but also why you do it. It sounds much more professional.
Let's look at a few more examples. I organize meetings so everyone stays informed. I prepare reports so managers can make better decisions. I train new employees so they can start their jobs confidently. Adding so or so that makes your English sound smoother and more natural.
Here's another useful phrase. My role is to, for example, my role is to support the sales team. My role is to improve customer satisfaction. My role is to keep projects on schedule. This expression is especially common during job interviews and business introductions.
Here's a workplace conversation. What exactly do you do? My role is to coordinate our marketing campaigns. I work with designers, writers, and our sales team to make sure every project is completed on time. That answer sounds confident without being complicated.
Here's another one. What are your main responsibilities? I supervise a team of 10 employees. I also schedule shifts, solve daily problems, and help new team members learn their jobs. Notice how each sentence adds useful information step by step.
Now let's talk about being polite. Sometimes we don't want to sound like we're doing everything ourselves. Instead of saying, I do everything, try saying, I help manage the project. I work with the finance team. I'm part of the customer support department. These phrases sound more realistic and more professional because most jobs involve teamwork.
Tone is important too. If someone asks about your job, don't rush your answer, speak clearly, pause naturally between ideas, use a friendly voice. Even simple vocabulary sounds excellent when your delivery is relaxed and confident.
Let's practice together. I'll ask the question, what do you do at work? Pause for a moment and answer out loud. Great, now another question. What's your biggest responsibility? Excellent, one more. What do you enjoy most about your job? Try answering with 2 or 3 complete sentences. The more you practice speaking, the more natural your English will become.
Here's another real-life situation. You're meeting someone at a business conference. They ask, so what do you do? You could answer, I'm a project manager. I lead a small team, coordinate deadlines, and make sure our projects stay on schedule. I really enjoy helping my team succeed. That's professional, friendly, and conversational.
Or imagine you're talking with a neighbor. What do you do? I'm a pharmacist. I help customers understand their medications and answer health-related questions. Short, clear, and natural.
Let's look at a few useful expressions you can start using today. I work on, I deal with, I focus on, I support, I coordinate, I oversee, I take care of. These verbs appear in thousands of workplace conversations every day.
Before we finish this section, here's a fun mini practice. Complete these sentences out loud. I work as a, my main responsibility is, I also, the part of my job I enjoy most is, fantastic. You're already building longer, more natural answers. Now we'd love another challenge for you. In the comments, write 3 sentences about your job or your dream job using at least 2 of today's expressions. It's excellent practice and you'll inspire other learners too.
Before we move on, let's review today's structure. Start by introducing your job. Explain your main responsibilities with action verbs. Add details about your team, your purpose, or your daily routine. Finally, speak with confidence. Keep your sentences clear, and remember that natural communication is always more important than using difficult vocabulary.
We've covered a lot of useful ways to describe your job, but before we move on, let's talk about something every English learner experiences: making mistakes. Honestly, we've both made plenty of them while learning languages ourselves. The good news is that mistakes help you improve, especially when you understand why they happen. So let's look at a few common workplace English mistakes and learn how to fix them.
Absolutely, and don't worry if you've made some of these before. They're very common. Let's start with our first mistake. A lot of learners say, I am working as accountant. The better way to say it is, I work as an accountant, or I'm an accountant. The reason is simple. When you mention a singular job title like accountant, teacher, or engineer, you usually need the article a or an.
Here's another example. Incorrect, I'm manager. Correct, I'm a manager. Think of it this way: if you can count the job title, you usually need a or an. Try these. I'm a designer, I'm a nurse, I'm an architect. Small words like these make a big difference.
Here's mistake number 2. Many learners translate directly from their own language and say, my work is answer emails. A native speaker would say, my job is to answer emails. Or, I answer emails as part of my job. After my job is, we normally use to plus the verb. My job is to help customers. My job is to organize meetings. My job is to solve technical problems.
Great point. Now here's another mistake that's easy to fix. Some learners say, I do many works. In English, work is usually an uncountable noun, so we don't normally say works when talking about jobs or tasks. Instead, say, I do a lot of work, or I have many tasks, or I work on several projects. Those sound much more natural.
Let's move on to mistake number 3. Sometimes learners use every verb with every job. For example, I make reports. While that's sometimes possible, in many workplaces Americans are more likely to say, I prepare reports, or I write reports. Here's another one. Instead of saying, I make meetings, say, I schedule meetings, or I organize meetings. Choosing the right verb helps your English sound much more natural.
Exactly, English has certain verbs that naturally go together with certain nouns. We call these collocations. You answer emails, you meet deadlines, you solve problems, you handle customer complaints, you manage projects. Learning these word pairs is one of the fastest ways to sound like a confident English speaker.
Here's mistake number 4. Some learners try to explain every single responsibility they have. They might say, I answer emails, print documents, clean my desk, organize files, call customers, attend meetings, send messages, check schedules. After a while, the listener gets lost. Instead, summarize, say, I mainly support our sales team and coordinate communication with clients. That's much shorter, but it tells people exactly what you do.
I love that advice because that's exactly how native speakers talk. They don't usually list every tiny task. They focus on the biggest responsibilities. And here's something funny. Imagine someone asks what you do and you answer, I press buttons on my keyboard all day. Well, technically that might be true, but it doesn't really explain your job. A better answer would be, I'm a data analyst. I study business data and create reports that help our team make better decisions. See how much more informative that sounds.
Let's practice each mistake together. I'll say the incorrect sentence. You say the correct one out loud. Ready? I am engineer. Correct. I'm an engineer. Next. My work is help customers. Correct. My job is to help customers. One more. I do many works every day. Correct. I do a lot of work every day. Excellent. Speaking the correct sentence out loud helps you remember it much faster.
Before we finish this section, here's something we really want you to remember. Don't be afraid to make mistakes when you speak English. Every confident speaker you admire today was once a beginner. The goal isn't to speak perfectly. The goal is to communicate clearly and keep improving every day. So here's today's challenge for the comments. Write 1 sentence about your job using today's corrections. If you don't have a job yet, write about your dream career instead. We'll be looking forward to reading what you write.
Let's wrap up this section with one final reminder. Use simple sentence patterns, choose natural action verbs, avoid translating directly from your first language, and focus on your main responsibilities instead of listing every small task. Those small improvements will make your workplace English sound much more natural and professional.
Welcome to our speaking challenge. This is where you stop listening for a moment and start using your English. Don't just think about your answers, say them out loud. The more you speak, the faster you'll build confidence. Remember, real progress happens when you practice, not when you stay silent.
Exactly, we're going to give you several workplace situations. For each one, you'll hear two possible responses. Decide which one sounds more natural in American English, then we'll explain why. Ready? Let's get started.
Situation number 1. Someone at a networking event asks, "What do you do?" Option A, "I have responsibility of customer support." Option B, "I work in customer support and I help customers solve technical issues." Which one sounds more natural?
The better answer is option B. Native speakers usually describe their role with simple action verbs like help, support, or solve. The sentence flows naturally and gives just enough information without sounding too formal.
Here's another one. Your manager introduces you to a new coworker. They ask, "What are you working on this week?" Option A, "I'm working on a new client project and preparing next month's presentation." Option B, "I'm making many different works." Which one would you choose?
Option A is the clear winner. It uses specific information and natural workplace vocabulary. Native speakers often mention the current project they're focused on instead of giving a general answer.
Situation number 3. A friend asks, "What's your favorite part of your job?" Option A, "I enjoy working with people because every day is different." Option B, "My favorite work is talking with peoples." Which one sounds more natural?
Option A without a doubt. Remember that people is already plural, so we don't add an S also. We usually say favorite part of my job, not favorite work.
Great job so far. Now let's make things a little more challenging. I'll give you a job title and your challenge is to create one complete sentence using an action verb. Ready? A pharmacist. Pause the video if you need more time. Here's one possible answer. "I'm a pharmacist and I help customers understand how to use their medications safely." Now try this one. An event planner. Can you make your own sentence? Here's one example. "I organize business events and make sure everything runs smoothly."
Excellent. Remember, there isn't only one correct answer. If your sentence is clear and natural, you're doing great. Now let's practice changing the level of formality. Imagine you're talking with a close friend. You might say, "I help people fix computer problems." Now imagine you're introducing yourself during a job interview. You could say, "I provide technical support and troubleshoot computer systems." Both answers are correct. The second one simply sounds more professional.
Here's a quick speaking drill. Repeat each sentence after us. "I work as a project coordinator. My main responsibility is organizing schedules. I work closely with my team. I also communicate with clients. I enjoy learning new skills every day." Fantastic. Saying complete sentences aloud helps improve both your pronunciation and your confidence.
Now it's your turn to build a short introduction. Try answering these 4 questions without stopping. What's your job? What do you usually do? Who do you work with? What do you enjoy most about your work? If you can answer all 4 questions, you've just completed a real workplace introduction in English.
Here's one final challenge for today's lesson. Imagine you're meeting someone for the first time at a company event. Introduce yourself in 3 or 4 sentences. Tell them your job, describe 1 or 2 responsibilities, and mention one thing you enjoy about your work. Then write your introduction in the comments below. We'd love to read it, and you might even inspire another learner with your answer.
Before we finish this practice session, remember one important thing. Don't chase perfect English, focus on clear communication. Native speakers make small mistakes too. The goal is to keep the conversation going, speak with confidence, and use the vocabulary you've learned today. Every conversation is another step toward becoming a fluent English speaker.
Wow, we've covered a lot together today. If you've stayed with us until this point, you should feel much more comfortable talking about your job in English. Remember, you don't need fancy vocabulary or long explanations to sound professional. Clear, simple English is often the most effective English.
That's exactly right. Let's do one quick recap before we finish. First, we learned how to introduce our job using short, natural sentence patterns like "I'm a" or "I work as a." Second, we practiced explaining our daily responsibilities with strong action verbs such as manage, coordinate, support, and prepare. Finally, we learned how to give more detail by talking about our typical workday, our team, and the purpose behind our responsibilities.
We also talked about common mistakes that many learners make and how to avoid them. Small changes, like choosing the right verb, using natural collocations, and keeping your answers focused, can make a huge difference in how confident and fluent you sound.
Here's something we'd like you to think about after today's lesson. If someone met you tomorrow and asked, "What do you do?" could you answer confidently in English without translating from your first language? If the answer is not yet, that's completely okay. You now have the tools to practice and improve one conversation at a time.
Here's a fun challenge before our next episode. Record yourself introducing your job in English. Keep it between 30 and 60 seconds. Listen to your recording, notice what you did well, and then try again. You'll be surprised by how much more natural you sound after just a few practice sessions.
And don't forget to join the conversation below. Tell us your job or your dream job and write 2 or 3 sentences describing your main responsibilities. If you're learning English for work, let us know what kind of workplace conversations you'd like us to cover in a future video. Your comments help us create lessons that are useful for you.
If today's lesson helped you feel more confident, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with a friend who's learning English, and subscribe to Talk Fluent for more practical lessons that you can use in everyday life and at work. We're here every week to help you build real-world English skills, one conversation at a time.
Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're part of becoming fluent. We appreciate every one of you, and we can't wait to see you in our next lesson. Until then, take care, keep speaking English every chance you get, and as always, see you next time.